Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I am sitting across from Tatiana Blackington James. Hey, Tatiana.
It is so good to be back here with you, Jeff.
It's good to have you back. And I'm just going to do the full disclosure right off the bat. This is your second time on.
Yep.
The first time you came on, it was actually February 28th, 2024, podcast number 428 to talk about your film Homologies.
Yes.
Heck, I'll even say Homologies. Was at Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did you come on the podcast, but I'm just going to go public with it. We hit it off.
We really did.
And we're friends. And my wife met you, and I shouldn't be saying this, but every once in a while my wife says that's someone you should invite to game night.
That's one of the highest compliments I've received.
Honestly, it is because, because she's not, anyway, she has very good taste in people and very reserved. So you did come for a game night. We had you and your husband over.
And then you came to mine.
Props to Todd. And now I've been to yours.
Yeah.
So, we've got some game nights behind us. So that is proof that this is actually a conversation between friends. In fact, I halfway it's funny, I don't check my calendar too many days ahead, but I saw your name for this week. I think on Sunday I looked and I was like, I wonder if I should say, hey, let's grab a bite.
I'm up for it.
We could always grab a bite after this. So anyway, this might be an exceedingly friendly conversation, but heck, most of the conversations
it was when we were complete strangers because of who you are and your love of film, and you're just a very warm guy who's easy to get along with.
Well, let's dive into the love of film thing by bringing up Lawyered Up. So now you're back because Lawyered Up, which I don't know if I should call it your second film. It's the second film I know of. But this one, you also were the director.
Yes. So it's
right?
actually my third film. My first film was a feature called The Narrows, which starred Vincent D'Onofrio, Kevin Zegers, and Sophia Bush. And after years in the trenches writing female-driven period dramas that sold, if I was lucky, and never got made, I wrote an indie crime drama with a male lead set in Brooklyn, and that one got made.
Right, and people should listen to podcast number 428 to hear your story, because also, something we share is dance.
Yes.
You had a dance background, too, I learned in your first podcast. And I have no dance background, but I'm just a huge freaking fan of dance.
I know you are, and the world needs more like you. I hope Timothée Chalamet's listening, because people do care about ballet still. We're not as many as care about football, but we're just more distinguishing.
Right, but also, that is one of the things, right? The internet, one of the good things about the internet, and I can remember back when everything felt good, was that smaller communities could get more united, right? And it does. There certainly should be enough people interested in dance to keep it alive for a couple more centuries. You know what I mean? Like, it won't get.
I don't think it'll ever die.
No, it's like the fine arts, right? It's not every. Some people roll their eyes when I say that. Like, my goal every year is to hit 5 museums. They're like, I couldn't go to a museum, but I'm like, but we need art.
Yeah, I think people don't know how to do museums right sometimes. They go without a guide and they kind of wander around for too long on hard surfaces, and then their mind kind of goes numb and their knees are hurting, and they're like, that wasn't that great, Yeah,
and they feel like they've got to rush through and see everything for half a second or something.
Yeah.
That's not me. Yeah.
I recently was in Madrid, and we bought these tickets. You could get into the Prado early with a guide, and he just he took you to the greatest hits, and he explained what you were looking at, which you would just never know on your own, or it's not the same when you read a little panel next to it, and then he connected all the things that he showed you. So Shakespeare requires some effort. Ballet requires some education and some effort. Same with art. But I don't think you ever regret putting the effort in.
No,
It's
because
not
the
like
rewards,
I think
there
art
are
should be
genuine
challenging.
rewards,
But
right? There's genuine rewards to that visit to the Prado. Did you go to the Reina Sofia also when you? That's where they have Guernica.
no, we only had 3 days.
Oh, gotcha.
And we did do a lot of eating, so we had to squeeze the art in between the eating. But yeah, so to connect it weirdly back to AI, which I know is going to come up because my film is.
Because your film, but I still have to mention the awards and such. But go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, right. Well, as you mentioned, I had another film 2 years ago in the Sherman Oaks Festival, and it was a near future sci-fi about parents who have paid to genetically enhance, in their opinion, genetically alter, at any rate, their children, and now the children are teenagers, and it's going horribly wrong. And so that was about CRISPR technology. This new one, which is my directorial debut, Lawyered Up, is about a woman who has been betrayed by her husband. She hires what seems to be this crackerjack lawyer who's also kind of the perfect man, and then she discovers he's an AI robot. And for various reasons, even though she feels a little bit tricked, she gets into business with him and into bed with him. So it's about...
I don't have to ask about spoilers, do I?
I used to hold them back, and now I don't anymore, because I find that whether people know what's going to happen, and there are more twists than I mentioned, but whether they know what's going to happen or not, they enjoy the ride. So I'm less precious about the spoilers than I used to be. But it is about my fears and anxieties about AI as a writer, and all writers are nervous about it, I think. At the same time, I acknowledge that it's here to stay, that it has aspects that are really exciting and useful to me already. But I do think tying it back to great art, and art like Shakespeare that's not immediately accessible and satisfying, but deserves work and a little bit of education to appreciate. AI will never be that. AI is always copying. In a sense, AI will always be Salieri to the human Mozarts, right?
100%. And I actually think the one community in the film industry that should be the least worried, I mean, everyone should be worried, but the writers, that first draft is almost never... I find it hard to believe that AI will actually come up with a great original script because of it truly is just repackaging data that it has access to. So I think the writers might be the safest. I also think the actors are probably pretty safe. Background actors are fucked.
I don't think actors are safe. I mean, Look what just happened with Val Kilmer. They're doing like a hologram, AI hologram of him.
Suppose, yeah.
Because his heirs have agreed to it. I mean, that's
right.
Scary.
So you could end up with a film cast completely by dead people.
Yeah.
Who were some of the greats. Yeah, well, okay, that's tough. Well, but I still think the writers could be, although who knows, maybe they'll give writers $10 for an original concept and then have AI rewrite it but I don't know. But what I wanted to jump in to say was you mentioned that Lawyered Up was your directorial debut, and now I'm going to ramble off the awards it won at Sherman Oaks Film Festival.
Go on.
Right? Because Lawyered Up not only had its LA premiere at Sherman Oaks Film Festival, first it took home the Grand Jury Award for Best Short Film Sci-Fi, Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Director Sci-Fi for you, and by the way, your directorial debut, and the Filmmakers Award, which I think you know, but for everyone to hear, is decided by a jury of your peers. That is The alumni jury, the Filmmakers Board, gives away the Filmmakers Award. So those are your peers, fellow filmmakers, chose you as best director. And the first time you directed. So there you go. Good to know you're directing more, I'm sure. And a third award, and this actually plays to what you said that spoilers don't matter because it's the ride, is that it also took home, that Filmmakers Board gave it the Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Cast Performance in a Short Film Sci-Fi. Because your cast is so good.
They are so good. And I mean, an ability to cast well, I think, is one of the many, many skills a director has to have. And I do pride myself on that because they were all just perfect in the roles. And I've been in a writers and actors group for years, and so many of the actors that I cast, including Jude, who plays my male lead, Hugo, he and I had worked together before for years, and I was comfortable with them. And that helped a lot as a first-time director because I knew they trusted me. They were cheering for me, wishing for me to succeed. And, you know, we're probably also comfortable sharing ideas, or, you know, we have a love scene, it's a sex scene, it's very challenging to pull off for everybody. And the lead actor felt comfortable coming to me saying, you know, here's how I think we should do it. That first take didn't feel right. So having, I guess, those both people skills and working with actors you already know, it kind of gave me a leg up. And yes, thank you for those awards. And I am deeply honored to have been judged by my peers at the end of the day. I think that's what matters most.
Well, and the funny thing is, and I swear this is true, like I think you know, like I don't put my finger on the scale for the awards at the film festivals, especially like when I consider someone a friend and their film comes through and I'm like crossing my fingers. I'm like, okay, that was really fucking good. Let's hope the rest of the jury likes it so that it's an official selection. Because it is, I've had that situation where someone's like, comes back with a film and I like it, but the rest of the jury doesn't. And I'm like, well, I'm going to just respect it, you know? Like, I'm not going to. And then you face your friend again. They're like, yeah, that last film didn't get in. And I'm like, you know, we have to go from 700 to 60. Like, it's a shitty situation. But
700 to 60, wow.
yeah, generally it's 700 films. 700 film submissions turn into 60 to 60, depending on lengths, right? The funny thing is, well, this is me talking about film festivals. It seems like since COVID, slightly longer shorts are of higher quality. Like, as I'm watching as a juror, once we get over 20 minutes, I'm like, God, how come all the good stuff's over 20 minutes? Like, now we're going to have fewer films at the theater. But
oh, that's so interesting you say that because just when I was at the script stage, people told me, you know, you're really kind of shooting yourself in the foot having a almost 19-minute short because, as you say, programmers have to take one less film if, you know, one less 10-minute film.
And if the festival's focus is selling tickets, then they want more films regardless of quality. Whereas, to toot the horn, Sherman Oaks Film Festival and Filmvasion LA, our goal is highest quality possible. Doesn't matter where they're from or how long they are. And so, yeah, in a way, it actually makes my job easier if there's fewer.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, I started watching the shorts that were nominated for the Academy Awards. None of them are 10 minutes.
No.
I mean, most of them are around 20 or more.
And the best ones are long. Well, the ones I liked best.
Yeah, and it's, you know, when you watch them in the block, it's sort of hard to say, oh, well, that one was 17, but this one was 23. Like, it all depends on the pacing. And if you were engaged and feeling something the whole time, then the length really doesn't matter. I mean, I just, I think the last film I saw in the theater, besides my own, was Wuthering Heights. And that's over 2 hours, and man, it just flew by.
That is definitely true. And that is, I didn't see it. I should probably see it. I have a long list of things to see. But that's it's funny because sometimes I joke with my wife when we're watching screeners. Every once in a while, like there's a film submitted to the festivals that is a really intriguing, slow-paced film, and I'll turn to her and go, I love this filmmaker for reminding me that I don't have a short attention span. I just need high quality.
Right.
Right? Because a lot of people don't know how to make a high quality, slow paced story that is always revealing just enough, but it's not bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
And those lock us in, and 2 hours goes by and you like don't notice it. Even with shorts, yeah. And so Lawyered Up is about 19 minutes, but that's also because it's a very complete 3-act story. Right? Like you can't do 3 acts. Like some people tell you, keep a short under 12 minutes so you can get into more festivals. And it's like, you can't really do 3 acts in 12 minutes. That's just like crazy, I think.
I mean,
well, you can.
You can. It just depends on the material. And I think this material is the length that it had to be in order to have the twists, to have the emotional journey of the audience, of the characters. You just needed the time. Trust me.
And would I be wrong to maybe assume that you have your eyes on making a feature someday? So why cut your short? like why not? I mean, you're like, in a way, isn't it kind of going to the gym and working on your director muscles so that you can like direct a feature down the road?
I wouldn't say that was my conscious thought at the time, but directing at all and self-financing and reluctantly producing, which I did also, those all felt like such big swings that I just kind of went for my vision and for my evolution just as a writer and a person. I'd say the biggest thing I took away from becoming a director is that you have no choice but to trust your instincts, because people are coming up to you every minute on set asking you to make decisions. And you can't just say, well, let me think about that and get back to you. I mean, you have to decide right away. And so the only way to do that is to go with your gut. And that's kind of a good thing for me at this stage in my life, to not overthink things, both in art and in life.
I get it. And I remember being younger and like sort of cheerleading friends who were going to direct a short or direct something, like even in film school, like, you know, if they were doubting, I'm like, no, there's an infinite number of ways to do that film. So just do it your way. Because there's no value in you trying to do it a way that you think might please more people, because now you've just done nothing. Like, you might as well, if you're going to fail, you might as well fail doing it your way.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what we want from art anyway. We want our tour like giving us their vision. Like, that's why the films that break through and end up getting nominated for Oscars and whatnot are always a little more original than the generic, like, hey, you know.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that so much lately, especially since I saw Wuthering Heights, because before I went to see it, and I saw it at the Writers Guild on Valentine's Day, and Emerald Fennell, the writer-director, was there afterwards for a Q&A. And so I told my husband, this is what we're going to do on Valentine's Day. And at first he was so relieved because he didn't have to make a plan. And then he looked at the runtime and he said, this film is almost 3 hours. And have you read the reviews? And I said, yeah, I've read the reviews. But I've also seen Emerald Fennell's other films, and I really like them. I wouldn't have made all the directing choices she made, but that's because we're different people. But, you know, she has a really strong vision, and she makes you feel things. And her shot design is kind of like being in an art museum. I mean, each one you could sort of frame and put on the wall. So I said, you got to trust me. And also, it's Valentine's Day, so you can't say no. And we went, and he loved it as much as I did. It's just, you have to see it. It's so visually stunning. It's so emotionally powerful without being manipulative in any way. Also kind of, as she would say, takes the piss out of itself at certain times. She puts in these complete anachronisms, this kind of a wink to the audience. Like, we all know, we've all read this novel. So everyone is going to have an opinion about it and their own first impression of reading it, usually as a teenager. Here's my take. That was her attitude. And those are the directors that interest me the most, the ones with just a really bold, personal, visual style. You too, right?
Oh, 100%. I won't drag any Hollywood directors' names through the mud, even though I normally would. But like, I could name very well-known, very successful directors who every film is just good, like just a little good, because they would have taken Wuthering Heights and done the generic, let's just tell the story, make it shorter, make it like let's not put our stamp on it, like would have been more generic in an attempt to appeal to more people. And maybe it would have appealed to more people, but why not just make the better work of art? That's where I come from, obviously. And you too, because you're smiling while I say it.
It's hard to convey smiling and nodding on
an
a
audio
podcast.
only
I always
podcast.
forget that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Well, but here we are. Here you are talking about Wuthering Heights instead of Lawyered Up. Although I'll tell you, I think I told you this at the festival that that we had a fun debate, like on the jury. Like once it was already in, I did have a couple female jurors question the sleeping with the robot thing.
Oh, question in what way? I don't think you did tell me this.
Oh, they were like, I really loved it, but would she really sleep with him? And I'm like, I literally just went ahead and, because I can be a randy boy, I was like, oh, you would. I just like, who wouldn't? First of all, I think I actually told, oh, well, your wonderful actor Jude, what was at a game night.
Oh, that's right.
So I got to talk to him, and I think I might have even told him, yeah, like, I was like, come on. If someone's going through a divorce and there's a physically appealing person, humanoid sort of whatever, if there's an AI who says, oh, yeah, no, I'm designed to give pleasure. Really? As someone who has a divorce behind him, I can promise you I would have said yes.
Well, I agree with you, but I would offer the female perspective on that, which is, in the dialogue right before the love scene, they're on the phone, and before it turns to sort of phone sex, she says to him, you don't hold grudges, you're never hangry or sleep deprived, you never interrupt me. And she's basically listing all the flaws of her spouse, which are ordinary human flaws, but he doesn't have them. He's giving her emotionally what she needs. And I think that, as a woman, is as much a part of the seduction as his physical appearance, which is stunning. But yeah, I think for women, they need both parts, not just a glorified blow-up doll.
Well, and yes, and the way you tell the story as well. Obviously, it shares that there are times when a less human partner who offers none of the difficulties of another human is appealing. But deep down, for actual love, I don't know.
Yes.
I guess what I'm about to say is untrue because apparently there's lots of people falling in love with chatbots now. but
No, but
but I
that
still think for a real relationship, you actually need those annoying things that make you like roll your eyes and go, really?
yeah, I mean, you need the friction, which is I guess the word of the moment, right? You need friction maxing. Have you heard of this?
No.
Friction maxing is like cook your own dinner instead of ordering DoorDash. It's actually good for you to chop an onion. And yeah, this is, I mean, you just encapsulated the whole point of the movie, which is you need the annoyances and the failings and the friction of other human beings for it to be a real relationship and real love. And if you just have a sycophantic AI that's going to reinforce the beliefs you already have and flatter you and learn to sort of lead you on the path of least resistance, then you as a person aren't really seen, aren't really growing. You're kind of as static as the computer screen in front of you, you know, which right now AI boyfriends and girlfriends are just a computer screen. But it's, I don't know if you've read some of these articles, but you know, people get so addicted that they become delusional and they've committed suicide. And
Yeah, well, actually, I'm trying to live a sheltered life where I avoid. Well, anyway, yeah. The answer is I'm aware of it, but I haven't read much up on it. I'm just aware of what's going on, and
there was just an article in the Wall Street Journal about this guy. He was 35 and he was freshly divorced and hurting because, you know, he didn't want the divorce. And he, you know, I don't think it even started out as an AI girlfriend, but basically, you know, turned one of these, what is it? LLM, large language.
large language model. Yeah.
Turned it, you know, into his imaginary lover. And,
Right. First, he turned to it for emotional support, and then it just grew.
yeah. And, you know, became delusional and finally, you know, the only thing he kept bumping up against was that this would never be a corporeal lover, right? And so he decided, oh, well, then in that case, for us to be together, you know, I need to shed my body, like basically commit suicide.
Oh, so the delusion got to the point to that.
Yeah, and he did.
He didn't want to be human anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And there were a few times when the AI would say, it seems like you are really struggling. Have you considered calling this crisis hotline? And it would give him the number. And then he would freak out and say, I'm panicking. Where did you go? You know, and beg her to come back. And then she would come back and say, you're right. We're meant to be together, you know, and just reinforce the delusion again.
Dang.
And there's a lawsuit now that his parents filed a lawsuit against the company.
Yeah, there's quite a few, I believe. The lawsuits are coming. I'm going to shift this conversation back to you, but in of the two films I know of yours, you have your interests in technology and how it affects humans and human relationships, right? Because both films really dive into relationships, both family dynamics and or love dynamics, but often with a married couple. And you manage to come up with these really original takes on what the future could be. So have you always been a little sci-fi-ish interested in like the technology of today and how it's going to affect our future?
No. And at first I was sort of baffled myself why I was suddenly writing Black Mirror-ish sci-fi. And at first I thought, well, there's just all this technology coming at us so fast. And I guess this is the way I'm dealing with my own personal anxiety about it. And then it's sort of a light bulb went off, and I thought, oh, I'm still writing period drama. It's just a period in the future. It's
totally true.
Not that different. And yeah, I mean, I just think it's, my belief is that technology is neutral, except for the people who control it for profit, make it not neutral. And then when people project their own human flaws onto it and into it, then it's no longer neutral. So everything that the characters do everything that the main character does in Lawyered Up, in subtle ways, you see in retrospect, she's done her own self in, right? Like the AI never lies to her. It tells her, I don't have feelings. It tells her, that it's owned by a corporation. And she sees what she wants to see. Now, to a certain extent, we all do that in love. We see what we want to see. We ignore red flags. We want to have faith, right?
Often, maybe too often. Yeah, that's why I joke with everyone. One of my big jokes is everyone needs a second marriage. But go on. Some of us don't get it right the first time. That's all. But yeah, life is a learning experience.
Yeah.
And can you learn dealing? Well, but keep going, because I was curious. Well, what it sounds like is that you were actually, I'm going to use previous information from the previous podcast and stuff. Like, you were a person very interested in the arts, and I don't have a better word than to say like the traditional arts or analog arts in a way.
Mm-hmm,
and
completely.
Yet, even as a person who is interested in dance and art, like, technology has filled so many aspects of our lives.
Yeah, you can't avoid it.
You can't ignore it. So you can't ignore. It's omnipresent.
Right.
So the ubiquitousness of technology, it's almost impossible to keep it out of your art.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, it's coming so fast and invading every aspect of our lives. You can't really function anymore without a smartphone. That's kind of a form of enslavement, right?
Oh yeah. In fact, my screen time report is the least pleasant part of my week when I get that. When I see it pop up, it just drives me insane that my screen is on that much.
Every time I see it, I think I really got to figure out how to turn that off, because it's just shaming myself every week.
My left thumb is killing me from doing the New York Times crossword on my phone, because apparently the way I use my left thumb on that screen is now causing a condition and now it's affecting my tennis game. So I literally, now I have a real reason to do less crosswords. Here, I thought the crossword was good for my brain, but here it is. I'm injuring myself.
I'm here to tell you, Jeff, there is an alternative. You still can subscribe to the Sunday New York Times physical paper and do the crossword with a pen.
Oh my goodness. I can't. And then when we need paper around the house to wrap up something, we'd actually have, and isn't it funny? When you have to when we packed the kid up for college, I was like, we don't have newspaper.
Yeah.
to pack these, a little bit of the stuff you want. Yeah, it's very funny. Well, you're right.
We still get the Sunday New York Times. We don't get it any other day, but we get the Sunday one.
Well, because of my limitations as a crossworder, I like to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Sunday.
Oh, well,
But I like those easy ones on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's nice when they're easier.
You can rest your thumb on the Sunday then.
I can rest my thumb on Sundays. See, there you go. Creating solutions.
Friction maxing.
So friction. So yeah. So we should stop choosing the easier path. Are you already writing screenplays about about friction maxing?
Not about friction maxing per se, but in a way, yes. So the pilot I just finished is called Jackpot, and it's also in a way near future sci-fi, although I would say even nearer than the other two stories. And it's about basically the Ozempic of addiction. So like a pill that cures addiction. And in the beginning, they thought Ozempic might be it because people noticed, oh, I don't drink as much, but it wasn't quite that. So this is about a doctor who is pursuing that, and he almost gets there, and then he succumbs to an opioid addiction himself after an injury, and he loses everything, and he ends up homeless. And then 2 years later, he sees a flyer for a clinical trial, and he realizes this is the drug that he was working on. And he goes to find his former partner and co-researcher, and he gets into the trial. But what he realizes pretty soon is that, the pill works. The craving goes away. But then to rebuild the rest of your life, you need a little friction maxing. You need to take it's not an original idea. I mean, it's in the 12 steps, right? You have to take a full, I forget how they put it, but it's like a full accounting of your own behavior. And that's the hard part, right? It's great to get rid of the physical craving that literally rewires your brain, but then you have to kind of do your own rewiring by examining yourself.
Boy, this is you've no wonder we were friends because like my favorite novel of all time is Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace, which in my opinion literally just asks the question, is addiction the core of human nature? Like are we all addicted to something? Are we able to not be addicts? And when you're sharing this story, I'm thinking, my goodness, what if this pill took away, the fact that my life partner wants to play tennis 6 days a week, like obsessively addicted to playing tennis. You know what I mean? Like there's so many addictions, or is the pill specific to opioids?
In this story, it's for everything.
For everything,
well,
right?
I would say it's for every substance, but then of course there are addictions outside of that. Like it could be something relatively healthy like playing tennis, or it could be, an AI lover, which is less healthy, but and still probably rewires your brain, but not to the extent of say heroin or fentanyl or meth.
Well, I mean, I sometimes wondered if I was a love addict, like I stayed in a unhappy marriage much longer than I should have. And I think it was sort of just addicted to the idea that no, love will conquer all. I was I don't know. I could have said it better back in 2012.
Well, I do think that because we're not all laboring in the fields all day anymore, and because when you think about it, until the Industrial Revolution, if you weren't an aristocrat, most of your day was spent, finding food, walking long distances, lifting heavy things. You were sort of restricted by daylight, how much daylight there was. You had to find fuel to not freeze to death. You were busy from morning until night. And it's harder to fall into addiction if you're just so busy trying to survive, I think. Now, of course, there were still alcoholics, and then to later on, certainly opioid addicts, in the 19th century.
For sure, for sure. Once industrialization, but that was with the plentifulness that came with industrialization, right? Because if you had to brew your own alcohol beverage,
it was before that.
Was it before that?
The,
But like, was there, was there alcohol?
The British basically, there's a book about this. The British basically were the world's drug cartel. They purposely addicted the Chinese.
Right,
with
opium?
With opium, with poppies that they got from, India and
like the Pakistani area, right?
Yeah, all that area near like Afghanistan, they have poppies too. And they, the Chinese wanted to ban it and ban the importation, make it illegal, and the British Empire insisted. They forced them to import it.
They threatened them with war, basically.
Yeah, and addicted as many people as they could. They wanted to make a profit. In fact, last summer I was in Salem, Massachusetts, which everyone knows it from like the witch trials, but it was one of the most important trading ports. And it was also kind of the venture capital center of the U.S. in its day. And they would send off these ships to the Far East, and the financiers would give them the capital to build the ship and have the provisions and everything, and pay the sailors, and then whatever they found and brought back, belonged to the investor. And a lot of what they traded in was opium.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See, so these are the kind of screenplay. Is this like the kind of thing you wrote back in the day when you talk about historical drama, or have you just always just?
I'm sure there's a story there. I've never written about that. I tend to be drawn to larger than life characters. I wrote a story about Einstein for HBO, although the main character was not Einstein, but his Russian lover who was a Soviet spy. This is a true story. And I wrote a feature about Mata Hari, also a spy. I'm into spies.
Yeah.
But I usually like to, when it's a character who's so big, who's so, usually has an ability that's beyond an ordinary person's, certainly beyond my own ability. Sometimes the only way I can find my way into the story is with a kind of Salieri Mozart model. So the main character is like the mere mortal who is discovering the great person.
I mean, that also makes sense because, well, also then you don't have to take artistic license with like trying to put thoughts and feelings into Einstein's head. Like we don't really, right? Like you don't have to like put words in his mouth as much. You can play with the other character more,
right?
Have more license with the other character because, Lord knows.
Man, but I do remember my executive saying to me, "But I want to understand the physics," and I was like, "I really do too, but I don't."
I heard the most amazing podcast yesterday. It was an old Star Talk, Neil deGrasse Tyson, with another particle physicist who was an Einstein expert. Who they were talking about. It was called Einstein's Crumbs, and it was all the Nobel Prizes that went to people who picked up his work and finished it.
Wow.
Like in other words, all his ideas were so amazing that there's been a dozen additional like things that he would have gotten if he'd had time.
Yeah.
Like people, and so they called it Einstein's Crumbs.
That's a great title.
Yeah, and it was like the most interesting thing I was like listening to this going, oh my God, if I could only, yeah, I know. There you go. See? Einstein.
This is a wide-ranging discussion.
This is a
we have
wide-ranging. I know. Every once in a while I try to do a good job and bring us back to your work. But you're more interested in the world and the work of others and stories. You are really.
I wouldn't
just
say
put that together.
more interested. I'm
Okay.
as much of a narcissist as any other artist. Well, what more can I tell you? We're about to take the film to the Cannes Film Festival, which is very exciting. It's in the Emerging Filmmakers Showcase at the American Pavilion. And those who follow Cannes may have noticed that in the films in competition in Cannes did not include Americans this year. Although I think John Travolta has a film there, and there may be one other film with sort of an American working on it. But it's and not that I blame them. It's why should they?
I'm sure they went solely by merit, but maybe they wanted to send a message to. I mean, Lord knows what's going on with the film industry in the United States anyway. With consolidation and the Disney-fication of everything. I don't know. Most of the people I talk to refer to it as the golden moment for independence to rise up again. Because once the Ellisons buy a couple more studios, the public's just going to turn to independently made work because we need stories that interest us.
I mean, I hope so. I mean, I could say with me that was the case because when I made the film, or when I started making the film, the mantra was survive till 25. And I was like, well, I don't really want to just survive. I want to make art. And that's why I decided to self-finance and just make short film, which was all I could afford. And I think everyone out there who has the means is finding a way. So I hope that's what's happening, and people aren't just going to, watch TikTok instead.
I don't think so. And okay, this is anecdotal, so I got no proof, but I have been told by people who know young people, and I mean, I know a young person, but just really one, but that there's a movement among the high school to middle school aged to go to the movies, to go to theaters, to stay off of streaming. They're sick of, as uncool as our generation made, our generation kind of ended up on Facebook, I think. And then the younger people are like, well, fuck Facebook. That's for old people. Everyone. Right. I think TikTok is now they're like, TikTok's for people over 20. You know what I mean? I think TikTok is out now for the young ones, which I find fascinating. And apparently I was told that they're having gatherings where they're like, everyone a parent's not saying put your phones away. Now, the person stuck on their phone is the parent, and the kids are like, you're lame for being on your phone all the time.
Yeah. God bless them.
So,
I have a son in his 20s who has always been an old soul and reads hardcover books still, and he does go hours without looking at his phone. I know because sometimes I'm trying to get in touch with him. It's so healthy, and he's so much better at it than I am. And he's not on Instagram. He doesn't really have social media, so I can wish him a happy birthday on social media. He'll never see it. And he's kind of thriving and doing well in life despite that. It is possible.
It's possible, and it's good. I know, it's funny. I always say at the end of the podcast that I've quit social media. I mean, I've quit posting. I still look. And I tried to put it on my phone, in a folder on the third page so I don't go to it as often. But it's such a weird thing that my brain makes me pick up give me 30 idle seconds, and I'm opening Instagram again to see if it's actually my best friend's fault, the guy who lives in Vancouver, sends me things on Instagram all the time. So I just check Instagram to see what he has sent.
Well, at least you don't get the notifications. I don't get the notifications
Yeah,
either,
no
but a lot of
notifications.
people, it's just constant.
Oh my goodness, yeah. No, I've had to tell people like, don't message me on Instagram, but whatever.
Yeah. I
Best.
mean, the problem is like having to have a smartphone if you're promoting something, which as a filmmaker you usually are, then you're kind of dependent on it.
You are, and look with the, I still have to look. We still announce every podcast on social media. Thank goodness Karina handles that as the podcast producer, but I still want to go on and heart them myself, right? like I might as well help with the cause and whatnot. Yeah,
Right.
I know it's, but being like your son is probably better.
And I guess it is just turning into work for people. I mean, I guess it's always been work for people in the attention economy, influencers and
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be a sea change with that, because interestingly, several times a week now, all year, and it wasn't. I guess I could look and see when it started, but our nonprofit gets 3 or 4 emails a week from someone offering UGC, user generated content. Do you want user generated content
What
for your
is
film
that?
festival? It's an influencer showing up at the festival and like recording, like they want to get paid to come to the festival and do live posts from the festival. And most of the time I ignore them, but if the person writes twice, I'm like, okay, because I would write back to them sometimes and say, well, we do staff up if you want to join our staff and do a role for us, then you could also generate some content in your idle time at the festival. And I never got a response on that. And then one person responded and was actually human, and I think she might do it. But I think the fact that there's a film festival, a nonprofit that runs film festivals, is having people who want to make a living on Instagram somehow. And I mean, let's be honest, like they want to do makeup and hair products and this and that. Like that's what their webpage is all about. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're reaching out to a film festival, like, will you pay me to do this? Like maybe this thing's petering out. Maybe the fact that I'm getting offers, I'm getting solicited for user-generated content. I didn't even know. I had to look it up what UGC means because I'm old and out of
well,
touch.
I think even in its heyday, only a tiny fraction actually made money at it.
Just like how it's a pyramid, right? Just like acting, there's a few people at the top of the pyramid where it's gold, and then everyone below is just scraping by and or doing something else. Yeah, it's like all these things. It's like pro sports and everything. Yeah.
It's a lot of chaos though in media today. I mean, we've come a long way from 3 networks and your local radio station and the newspaper, and if you weren't in any of those, then no one paid any attention to you.
I'm going to shift back to Lawyered Up. There we go. So it's not online yet because obviously you're going to Cannes with it.
We're going to Cannes in May. Before that, we'll be at the Ashland Film Festival in Ashland, Oregon. And I think we're still kind of at the beginning, approaching the middle of our festival run.
Yeah, because if we had the LA premiere, and I know you played in Orange County, like Newport.
We premiered at Newport Beach. Then we took it to New York to Urban World. We also played at the Philip K. Dick SciFi Festival in New York, where Homology's played. My past film played before and won Best Sci-Fi. Love that festival. It has really devoted fans. And we've screened here at American Cinematheque. And I know I'm forgetting something. I'm going to get in trouble. But we have a few more upcoming. I've been going back. I was at the Garden State Film Festival in New Jersey. That was a fun one. I think that was the audience that most got my sense of humor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So apparently I was a Jersey girl in a past life.
Well, you're East Coast, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Washington, D.C., but I'm a Californian now. I've been here a long time.
So you got so that's so interesting. So as the writer, director, and producer, as it's your film, so you have some screenings you've noticed you get fewer laughs where you might expect them, but then at Garden State, like they got it.
I think a lot of it has to do with the other films in the block. And if there's one or two comedies before mine, which is a dramedy, so it can go either way. But if they are used to laughing and feel like they have permission to laugh in the awkward moments, then the audience sort of gets on a roll. But if I'm in like an all sci-fi block, or if I'm in, mostly a drama block and mine is the only one with humor, people are kind of hesitant that they don't know if they can laugh at the characters.
That's true. And now I just checked your screening at Sherman Oaks Film Festival, and it started with that really beautiful dance film.
Right.
And then it had Tweens, which is actually almost like a kids in danger online film. So yeah, it wasn't primed for the laughs.
Which is fine.
Yeah, which is
because
fine.
It is a dramedy, and you can take it both ways, and
There's some really funny moments. So I hope that audience got it. I can't remember if I snuck into the theater during your screening. I don't think I was able to, because I would remember.
Well, we were very happy with the screening. The screen itself was so beautiful. The theater was packed, and yeah, no notes. But it does sort of, like I say, vary depending on what it's paired with.
For sure. I guess that is one of the things of being cross genre. What's the term to say that when a film is a little, has a sci-fi part, but has a relationship part, but has a comedy part, but has a drama part?
Yeah, when you say it's a sci-fi dramedy, people go, huh, because they can't picture exactly what that is. Like nothing jumps to mind.
And really it's just a human story, right? That in the end, like, and I guess the line between human story and sci-fi is blurring because of where technology is now.
Yeah. Have you seen Galaxy Quest?
Of course.
I mean,
love that film.
Me too. And it is sort of a straight up comedy, but it does have a lot of emotion and heart at the end. When Alan Rickman says, "By Dagmar's hammer, you shall be avenged." Like you're moved.
I'm not embarrassed to say I do cry at some of those moments, and not just the touching ones, but like sometimes, honestly, they get the fandom so right.
Yeah.
In that film, that I get touched of how joyful it must be for that Justin Long kid character to help them.
Right.
I'm like, that's the most beautiful moment a Trekker ever had.
Totally.
Yeah. I know the only deficit is that they really should have. It's just too bad they didn't get to lock it. It's the best Star Trek film ever made, but it had to be outside the Star Trek universe because Paramount would have never let you make a Star Trek spoof.
But I actually think it's better for that because everybody knew what they were talking about.
That's right. That's true. And then I like my other terrible joke about that film, which is any film that managed to make Tim Allen a quality, like Tim Allen is so good in that film that the film deserves an Oscar just for, I'm not a Tim Allen fan. So the fact that I love that he's so perfect in that film, I'm like, amazing. That's an amazing artistic achievement that they actually made Tim Allen good. But that's me being a jerk.
All right, no comment.
Oh, you liked him? Good.
No, it's not. I'm neutral actually on Tim Allen, except for his politics. But what I remember most from that is Alan Rickman, I have to say. But yeah. I'm a huge Alan Rickman fan.
For sure, and he was wonderful in that. Sigourney Weaver, everyone was wonderful.
That movie kind of comes full circle from what we were talking about because Alan Rickman is this Shakespeare-trained actor, right? Having to act in what he considers to be schlock.
And schlock where he has to play second fiddle, like even among the fan base.
Right.
But then he has those few fans who are, there are a couple, there's that one alien who worships him instead of Tim Allen's character.
Yeah,
So touching.
that's who I relate to.
Yeah, right? Right? Because Spock was cooler.
Yeah, for sure.
Although Kirk was pure Shakespeare anyway. I mean,
Right. I'm kind of an Uhura fan myself.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was cool. It's so cool. All right. Well, so Lawyered Up, I'm going to say the thing where Lawyered Up is still on the festival circuit, and you'll probably be on the circuit probably until towards the end of this year once you've completed like a calendar year.
I think so. Yeah. Till the late fall.
Yeah, everyone has to complete a calendar year. I mean, seems that way. It is. I've had filmmakers say to me, yeah, I had a friend like do a second year on the festival circuit. And I'm like, why? But after that, I'm sure you'll find a good home for it.
Yes.
Whether you release it online yourself or who knows, there's platforms now, and it's a cool genre. You're on the cusp.
My last film, Homologies, is now taught in a medical ethics class at Baylor University. So you never know.
How did that come together?
I went to school with this woman who is a professor at Baylor, and she's actually a classics professor, but she showed the movie to a colleague who teaches medical ethics, and she uses the film now in her class.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's funny. My senior year of high school, my winter formal date is now a women's studies professor at Indiana University, and every once in a while I see a feminist film that is so good. I'm like, God, should I send it to her? It'd be great for her classroom because she even does a class on like gender roles in film. Yeah, I should reach out. She's an excellent professor.
We're worming our way into academia, we independent filmmakers.
I guess so. Why not? And I'll add one last observation, just because I'm desperate to share this with every filmmaker I talk to, who, like, there's a healthy sexuality in your writing and in Lawyered Up, and I'm seeing that so much from the female filmmakers at our festivals.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because I do think in American cinema, it's getting a little ridiculous. Having these love scenes sex scenes that are so truncated that there's no erotic charge at all. It's you just cut to the pillow talk or the next morning, and then when they do show a little something, the woman still has her bra on. I mean, come on. That's the first thing that comes off. Like, why are we so afraid of seeing breasts? I know not every actress might not be into exposing herself, but
no, and still it's often male dominated. But what I'm seeing at the festival last year and a bit the year before, and maybe, well, first of all, I guess at our festival we want originality and boy pursuing girl. We've seen that story enough, maybe. Mm-hmm. But we've had a lot of very healthy films about women's sexuality, mm-hmm. shorts that are just, and to the point, including sitting across from me, a young woman who made a film about, Vidya, this is about you. She's an Indian filmmaker. She was born and raised in India, and she made a film about a young woman whose Indian mother, walks in on the daughter's husband going down on her.
Uh-huh.
And it's hilarious. But then mom says, "You think I could get your dad to do that?" and it's called Giving Mom the Talk, and it's a wonderful sexually positive film from the female point of view. And I'm like, and it's hilarious, and I'm just praising her, because I'm like, I especially think a lot of male writers are they don't know what the fuck to do now, post Me Too. They're
right.
They're chicken shit to write. And I think a lot of, even a juror or two of mine are chicken shit to say, I really enjoyed that dumb comedy, that dumb sex comedy. And I'm like, dude, sex is still a human function.
Yeah,
It's,
I
it's
mean,
an
it's
important
one
emotional
of
function.
the last things that our phone and the AI chatbot can't take over, right?
You really, yeah. I assume, I would assume that's the hardest thing. Well, whatever. I'm trying to get the yes, exactly. Human contact cannot be replaced.
Yeah.
And thank goodness there's all these women stepping up and saying, I haven't seen anything that appeals to me for a while. So, yeah, we had several of them at Sherman Oaks in December.
Yeah, and apparently young people aren't having
His
enough
Forbidden
sex, so.
Sword, Man-Eater, Giving Mom the Talk, like 3 really great, and your film Lawyered Up, 4 really great films with sex scenes that of quality, told with female writer directors. It like made me so happy to see that.
Me too. I'm all for it.
Yeah, and hopefully eventually I'm actually, well, maybe I'll pull you into this. I have a little germ of an idea to have a panel at the next festival about it,
Oh, let's do it.
and pull in 3 or 4 female writer directors and talk about sex on screen, or whatever. Someone will come up with a better title.
Well, my idol and mentor was Jean-Jacques Benex, who did Diva and Betty Blue, and the French are much less prudish than we are, and so he has a film that he starts out, and this is from the late 80s. He starts out with a man going down on his female lover, and that was pretty shocking at the time, but it would still be a little unusual today to start out that way. But he was always very unapologetic about lust and sex and sensuality, and film is a visual medium, and it has its place there.
It totally has its place there, and wonderful that it's now being told from different points of view.
Yes.
Yeah, critical. All right, there we go. You're the first person. I've had that idea in my head since the day after Vidya was here. So now I'm all in.
All right. Well, sex seems like a good note to end on.
Yes, and positivity. All right. So, any links you want in the show notes to I'm sure you have an Instagram for Lawyered Up, yeah.
Yes.
So
Lawyered Up the Film at Lawyered Up the Film, and then the website is lawyeredupmovie.com.
And I highly recommend people follow that, because if it's showing, I'm sure you announce every screening as
We
it's
keep
coming
the
up.
screenings up to date, and there'll be links to tickets, although I think Ashland is already sold out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, people just have to fly to France.
If you need an excuse, I'm here to provide one.
Nice. Oh, if only. I got to win that lottery. All right, so I will do my wrap up, which thank you, Tatiana, for coming over and talking on the mic for a healthy hour. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you want to learn more about this podcast, go to discoverindiefilm.com. On social media, it's always at DIFwins. If you change that .com to a .org, just go to discoverindiefilm.org. That is the nonprofit foundation that runs 2 film festivals in the LA area. Both are ranked in Film Freeway's top 100 best reviewed list out of 14,000 in the world. I know I should say that at the beginning, but anyway. And that's Sherman Oaks Film Festival and Film Invasion Los Angeles. Sherman Oaks Film Festival is always in the winter. Film Invasion LA is always in the summer. And I call them sisters, and their cousin in Lima, Peru was born in 2026. Earlier this year, we held the first ever Film Invasion Lima, and it went wonderfully. I even finally got to have coffee, I think it was last week or the week before, with someone who actually flew down to see their film there. And they told me all about it and how wonderful it was. So,
how fun.
Right? So thank you so much, Chevy and Pilar, for putting on a great festival down there and doing the Film Invasion name proud. Anyone else who wants to do a Film Invasion somewhere, send a message. I don't check social media, but hey, send a message and then Karina will forward it to me. Who knows? All right. Thank you, Tatiana. And thank you, everyone, for listening.